Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Walk the Herd on 93.7 The Ticket, where unheard issues get brought to light and every perspective counts. Here are your hosts, Rebecca Pearson and Aniko Renee.
Hello, welcome into Walk the Herd at a new time, 6 p.m. Sunday night, because Aniko and I have given up our 7 o'clock slot to motorsports. So if you're a race fan, make sure you're tuning in to the finish line with Brief Fan Steele and James Rowland. All right, good evening, Aniko. How's it going?
Hello. It's going well, low key. Weather's still being weird, but that's Maryland. So
What kind of weird have you got?
right now we have 50 degree, 60 degree, 80 degree, 30 degree.
Okay.
Spicy.
Spicy. Yes, the game. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm in Houston today, and it's probably 80 degrees and definitely humid. Don't miss Houston. Definitely prefer the crisp air of Nebraska, at least, or Virginia.
Yeah, it's super humid down here at the peninsula of Maryland. So 80 and sunny sounds like an antidepressant.
Yeah. I love it. Well, this is 93.7 Walk the Herd, where the unheard are heard and every perspective counts. And Aniko is back. It's great. We missed you last week. And we've got a great topic teed up for you tonight around customer service and all things service and our experiences. And hopefully we'll have fun tonight. Aniko and I have been talking about how to jazz this thing up. But before we do that, maybe Jake, do you want to give us a sports report out? Have we got anything to report? I'm kind of out of it.
Yeah, not too much, I suppose. Just still trying to catch up on the NBA playoffs and what's going on there in the NFL draft. Of course, Emmett Johnson got drafted this week.
Yeah. Fifth, is that right?
Yeah, 5th round, but to the Chiefs. So it seems like there'll be some playing time, maybe a possibility for him.
Yeah, fantastic. And home field advantage, at least from all his buddies in Nebraska.
That's right. He's true.
Yeah, terrific. So that's great for Emmett Johnson. We're happy. Aniko, anybody drafted for your favorite Eagles that you want to talk about?
You know, I've kind of just been on an anime kick with my son, and we've kind of shut the world out the past week. So couldn't tell you, but
Okay.
I bet you it's great.
Okay, so since we're on to anime, we got any sports characters in anime, or what's young man's favorite character right now?
Definitely. We just finished Black Clover, so he loves Black Clover. There's some like volleyball anime that he was into that's like super popular. Haikyuu, he says.
Haikyuu. All right, we got a little voice in the background contributing to our show tonight. I love it.
Exactly. So he's keeping me up to speed, and it's just so cool to discover all the different genres with him and find our shows together.
Yeah.
It's the best.
We should probably have a whole show on anime talking about unheard perspectives. Not a lot of people, not as many people, maybe know about anime. It's certainly kind of a younger generation, although not super young, really taken to that. It was just coming on the scene when I was kind of getting out of my younger years. That could be a really fun topic for us. And if you want to participate in Walk the Herd, you certainly can call or text 402-464-5685. We always love the chats. You can drop them in at that number or drop a chat in YouTube. Jake is keeping an eye on it for us. So, all right, we're going to raise the roof, are we not? We got a little music and some tunes. Okay, tee us up, Aniko. What are we about to hear?
We are about to hear Return of the Mac, my favorite song by Craig Morrison. Roll it.
Get your chair dancer going.
Of course. It feels like gas is under $2 a gallon. It feels like you're in a convertible and you got that big old car phone. and
Yeah.
everything's right, and Taco Bell is cheap, and that's what it feels like.
Keep it going, Jake. We want to hear a little more before we have to turn it off. All right. Okay, well, hopefully that gets you going here with Walk the Herd. And why is that your favorite song, Aniko?
Like I was saying, it just feels like the start of summer, and it kind of reminds you who you are for a second. And you're like, you know what? Wait a minute. I am, in fact, the Mac. So,
Yeah, I love it. Let's all say it together. I am the Mac.
I am the Mac.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that may be a good lead in to talking a little bit about how you have to be the Mac when you are on with customer service in a variety of different scenarios. And this topic came up because I'm here in Houston talking to my friend Natalie. And I got a good story to tell. Just she's been thinking about how she can help have better customer advocates to help people that can't navigate customer service. She and I have many stories about how we have beat the man, let's say, in customer service.
Super important. It's super important, and it's a specialized skill that I think more people should put on their resume.
Yeah, in fact, that's a great kind of segue to even what she's been talking about is how can she marshal some volunteers who have those skills, and we've been talking about having tiered skills. So if you're going to advocate, it's there are places, I don't know if you have this in Maryland or even some of your previous jobs in Aniko, where you would have advocates that you could go get to help you. Sometimes it's navigating legal issues, sometimes maybe healthcare issues, right? But you do have some people on the ground in some of these, I'm going to say social services offices. Is that fair? Have you seen that?
Definitely. And that's kind of why I got into my career at the health department, was essentially I loved being that person for Maryland Health Connection, our Medicaid state insurance program, and kind of navigating those different twists and turns. So to have the opportunity to build the programs that navigates the twists and turns was cool.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we may have to draft you in our project here. I would, yeah, we'll definitely do that. Well, you're definitely going to be part of the research tonight, as is anybody else who wants to drop a chat in here, as Aniko and I are talking about customer service. But as I was preparing for the show, I come from the corporate world where I think about customer service being friendly, I guess, but speed oriented. You're trying to handle complaints usually instead of even orders, but it's sort of operational. But something that piqued my interest was just maybe more of the issues we're interested in around it's a human dignity checkpoint. How do you like that for some words? Okay. And one of the most common places where a person finds out whether they're being seen as credible, worthy, intelligent, honest, and worth the effort, just to name a few. And that completely changes the context for me of what I was thinking of, which is more of an operational environment. And I feel like your role probably saw a lot of that. So what does that say to you? Does any of that speak to you in any way?
It's a lot. I'm absorbing it. I kind of have to stop and think for a second.
How did you feel about the job you were doing, and helping people? Why did you enjoy doing that?
Knowing that I was saving someone's steps and assisting them in not having to, whether it's suffering, fear, anxiety, whatever, like to skip those steps essentially was the key and why I did it. It's kind of been tricky for me to get back into doing volunteer work because that was so much of what my job was. So it was super hard to disconnect the want to overdo even and go in and still do the job I was doing before. And that I had to kind of separate that. But knowing you instituted these programs and assisted people and actually made a difference and made something easier, because stuff's hard enough. So making something easier was great. I slept really well at night when I did sleep.
So maybe tell us a little bit about what you did and a little more specifics, but what made you good at what you were doing? And then for the people receiving it, how did they receive that? What was that dynamic?
I've always been a people pleaser, whether that's, great or bad or troublesome or, shadow work. I always have enjoyed knowing that I made someone else feel seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I started in retail young, working at J.C. Penney's and a tanning salon, and I was an optician for years and sold glasses. So I have a lot of groundwork in customer service there, and in my younger days, serving and bartending. And then was kind of like, how can I take this to the next level? And that pushed me to seek employment at a nonprofit where I'm helping someone, but with a very direct goal. Fell in love with that, met people to have the opportunity to do it for a state level and manage a health improvement coalition and be the voice for people to start from the ground up. Like, you really need somebody in the room to advocate, just like you would in any customer service position. You're advocating for someone like they're your family. So the more you make someone feel welcome and seen and heard and understood, whether that's language, personality, anything like that, the easier it is for them to open up to you and tell you what kind of help they need more of.
Wow, I mean, that's great. I think that is what I was thinking of, kind of the human dignity checkpoint, because you mentioned being seen, heard, safe,
Mm-hmm.
and like family, and getting them to open up. What's been your experience with someone asking for help from an advocacy perspective in this context? Are they afraid to ask for help, or what was your experience there?
I think there's a misconception where people assume majority of people who need any type of assistance come in and are like, how do I get all of it? Like, what's the most I can get? Run it up. Like, no, that's not the case. 9 times out of 10, people who need help come in are like, I just need $123.64 exactly to pay this electric bill, and I don't need anything else. And I'll give you whatever type of proof you need, tell you what I'm going through, be transparent about my story. And like, they don't want to have to ask for help because they've been watching their parents 9 times out of 10 strive for that independence and to not have to ask, or maybe we're even shamed to ask for help. And it's like, no, we work so that we can contribute to these programs so that people who legitimately just need $123 can have $123.
Right, right.
You know?
And how do you get them to, so you can feel like you're treating them like family? How long does it take to build that relationship so you can really find out what's bothering them, and is there something beyond the $123 that you really need to get at to help them too, or is it really that simple?
First part, sometimes it is that simple, but sometimes just by listening to their stories, you unpack and kind of triage other services you know of that you're then able to refer or implement at the same time. So you're also listening, you're required to report abuse. So you're listening for signs of financial abuse, physical, all those things as well. Can you ask me the first question again?
Oh, just how do you go about making them feel safe, like family? How do you do that?
I'm kind of a freak and have loved to study various topics of, many kinds, as you know. And I learned, people kind of figure you out within the first 5 seconds of meeting you. So I'm very big on, open, don't have my arms crossed, shoulders back, very relaxed environment. Always had a kid's corner so that the parents could actually focus and hear, you know what I mean? But, looking them in the eye, unless they break eye contact and aren't comfortable, like just things that show you, like, I'm viewing you as a common, decent human, as we're talking about checkpoints, like I'm viewing you as an equal. And I also think language is super important. Accusatory tones can shut people down for asking for a lot more help than they actually need. I don't know, there's so much to it, but I think also there's a boundary that you have to find of sharing yourself with someone like your story and telling them you relate without crossing like a social boundary of it being like you're unable to help them because you're so invested.
Right.
But you learn to walk the line. Johnny Cash did. It all works out.
I had Rick James and Super Freak when you said you're a freak in my head. So maybe
Yeah.
Mr. Gavin can pull a couple of those, either pull Walk the Line or Super Freak or both.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yep, the music is in me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it seems so simple, Aniko, and yet it doesn't happen a lot of times. So you work in the restaurant industry, right? Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I think too, it can be tricky on the receiving end because a lot of times we expect ourselves from other people. Like you expect that someone was raised to say thank you when you hold the door for them. You expect them to have been raised to, meet you with these like gestures of manners, but they may not have had that. Somebody may not have told them that that was a priority, or you know what I mean? So, but what were you going to say next?
Oh, I was going to ask you about customer service in a restaurant. So are there differences? So from your approach, because you've been in a few, and this is you delivering it, we're going to flip the script and talk about receiving it or complaints and things like that. But how is it different in a restaurant environment versus your healthcare environment? Or was it?
It's different in the volume of and variables of your customers and clientele. Everyone's pretty much professional at a health department or state-run agency. Customer service in a restaurant, that doesn't mean anything to anybody realistically.
You're in a whole different playing field.
Yeah, like you can send somebody out and genuinely like wake up, have the best type of morning, your energy drinks hitting right, music was right, playlist was right, you know what I mean? Like hair curled right. And then have somebody that's just like disgusted that you are this joyous at 11 o'clock in the morning and don't want you to check on them and don't care and are in fact going to tip you exactly 12% of your bill. Like it just doesn't matter, like what it is. There are just some people who have probably been through something and it jaded them a bit and they don't really have the patience for service, good or not. So
can you tell when you walk up to a table or when someone comes in to ask for help, can you tell what kind of customer they're going to be or what kind of need they have?
I can, I think that's again, that empathy, like overload a little bit. I've had to learn to reel it back and be like, nobody's giving you permission to be in their head, so don't even try to.
Right, yeah. There's definitely that kind of just bring me my food, right?
Yeah, so I kind of had a basic spiel for every table because it let me be centered in like the delivery of it, the confidence of knowing that I'm introducing myself and like I know I'm putting my best foot forward.
Right.
So how they carry it next, you really can't do anything about. You can only continue to be like, that's just my crazy drunk aunt. It's cool. She's like that on a Thursday. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you develop a hard shell in retail and food industry. But I met some of the coolest people I've ever met working behind the scenes. So it kind of balances out. It's usually like you love who you work with at these establishments, but a lot of times the customers themselves, you didn't give me a chance to give you service, baby. What's going on? Like,
and you don't really want to know, right? But
right. So it's like, okay, I'll play my part for the plot and we'll go through this. But you're often in a lot better place to be seen and heard and received on a level playing field at a health department in terms of customer service. You might get some community members here and there that object or want to add to a project, but even that, you treat them like family. What's up? What can we do? How can I help you?
So what would you do if you were, I guess, if you had your own business or something along those lines where you were able to provide a customer advocate or a consumer advocate for someone? What are some of the things you would do, building on what you've already said, and especially for what kind of problems they have? So you've mentioned, they need money to pay the bill. I guess there are other reasons people need an advocate, just trying to navigate a system to find health care or to go to the DMV or whatever. Like what does that mean for you?
I think definitely we touched a little on like accessibility before, and it being medical terminology and health insurance information is very hard to understand. There's a reason there are advocates for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of, hospitals now have patient advocates you can request, but they're not always there 24 hours a day. So there's a lot of good thoughts starting, but nobody's really perfected it yet, if that makes sense.
Why is it so difficult based on your experience? Why is it so difficult to navigate? Why do we need advocates? What is that all about?
I think there's a high turnover because advocates often aren't paid what they should be paid for the emotional load and strategic moves they have to make all in one. Okay. And then they get burnout. And when you're advocating for someone, you're trying to establish trust in this relationship that you have their back, whether that's a language barrier, like everybody else seems scary except this person who I understand, or anything like that, anything that helps you relate. It can be tricky to, how do I say it? If you don't pay somebody, they're going to leave. I don't have a better way to say it. So we're trying to establish trust and build these relationships with these families so they can say, hey, go here. This person has this service to help you. They helped me. You don't get that because then they leave. And then it's a whole different person. And they're like, I don't want to get involved again and tell my whole story and trauma again. And I don't want to. So it's kind of, that's the gap that I've seen. I don't know that that's the case for everywhere, but oftentimes anything in social work, that's a lot of times how it goes. The pay doesn't match the effort and taxation on the person.
Yeah, I mean, I think about that in just customer service in general. So I ran a customer service center when I was at ExxonMobil. So I was the one trying to help, from a call center perspective, customer service, particularly for invoices that weren't correct or complaints about a delivery or something along those lines. That's the kind of stuff I was working with. And there's a lot of value in those folks, any folks who can help solve a problem, because there's so much strain on the systems when the systems don't work right and somebody needs an advocate. Then something's too complicated. That's why I was thinking about healthcare and why is it so doggone complicated. Why, or for any of these things, why do we need an advocate? Why are the companies making it so difficult to navigate?
It's just systemic, like a lot of other things. Like people hate to hear it and think that it's, jargon, but it's systemic. It's meant to, if you don't have a high reading level, none of these words on this report is going to make sense to you. You are not going to be able to make an educated decision about your baby or your birth plan. You are not, it goes into things like this almost in a way that drives you a little crazy, but it was built to have the doctor be superior essentially and not have to explain it to you. Like women just have started to be allowed in the room alone with a doctor and not their husband the past 50 years. So we got a ways to go. It's not happening,
Yeah, I mean, that strikes me as you say that systems in general are built for the norms. Mm-hmm. And this is what the show is all about. If you're just joining us and listening to Aniko and Rebecca, we're always here looking for that non-normative conversation. And we're kind of fleshing out in this dialogue that these systems are difficult to navigate when it's not the norm. And I would say even maybe as we get into the next segment here, we're talking about needing to call for some kind of non-normative, non-routine service, inquiry, need, or something. The system's not built for the 20% or the 50% of people, whatever that means. And so you do end up with all these folks that need help navigating it, but there's also not a consumer advocate network of size to deal with the demand, I would guess. I mean, they're there, right? But you don't probably have enough of them. Is that fair from your observations?
I think it's almost too privatized. Like it's almost like this hospital hires for them. It's not like they float and know the community or Tri-County area or anything like that. Like I think there has to be more of a social services, health department, community services type of area where like we have free legal clinics here. Some of the legal clinics do that pro bono here for expungement and different things, but there would have to be some type of shift work involved because people are in the hospital at all different times in the morning and night and things. So it's just like, how do you make it more socialist? Like I love saying it, like please.
All right. Well, there's something we can pick up after the break to talk about what would that look like, and also talk about the reverse experience when we're all calling in and we're the one receiving the service. So this is Aniko and Rebecca on Walk the Herd. We'll be right back after this break at 93.7 The Ticket.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
You're listening to Walk the Herd on 93.7 The Ticket. Here are your hosts, Rebecca Pearson and Aniko Renee.
I think you're on mute.
Okay. I always count on Jake to do that for me. Thank you, Aniko. I would have just been chatting away. So welcome back to Walk the Herd with Aniko and Rebecca. Good thing she's here. I was totally muted and saying great stuff. You missed it. I had all kinds of words of wisdom.
I believe it.
Yeah.
The key to life, all the things.
Exactly. Right before the break, we were talking about really how do you help in the advocacy world. You were talking about just socialize, right? It's maybe too privatized. And we had a chat come in because we're talking about customer service if you're just joining us. So feel free to drop us a chat in YouTube or text. But we had a question about where you might think advocates don't exist that we need them. So you talked about legal aid, and there's some that I think are reasonably well known, maybe not, but where do we need advocates that maybe we don't have them or don't have enough? How do you look at that?
Aging services. We definitely need to assist our older population with technology. It can be very simple, easily done, but they need a lot of assistance. And to us, what seems like a great new, quicker, faster thing, they haven't made it past the last 3 quicker, faster things. And often even, your pre-surgery paperwork comes in and you click your link and it opens the portal and blah, blah, blah. Like half the time you can't see it. I'm typing it in for Nola Jean. So no, she's really good. I'm kidding. But other people, my grandma watches this show. Let me not say that. She's like, what? No,
I used to help my mom, and you'd have that when you go fill out, I don't know, how they you do an annual thing when you go to the doctor's office and tell them all the ailments that you have or whatever. And my mom would, it'd be like 100 on there. And my mom was reasonably healthy all the time. And she would start, they'd ask about migraines, and she'd had like 1 headache in 5 years. She's like, well, I had a migraine once. Like, Mom, that's not really what they're after. And then she would just be overwhelmed. She's like, what is this? I have no idea what, she knew diabetes, but like hypertension. She would say, I have no idea what hypertension is. And if she'd had it, she still might not have known because my mom just wasn't into medical stuff, so I was constantly interpreting for her. Sometimes they'd stump me. I'm like, I have no idea what that is, Mom. You don't have it.
Yeah, the only reason I know it the way I do is taking a medical terminology class at a community college, and they teach you the Latin way to break down the word. Like, okay, this is the study of something with the ology at the end. Okay, this middle part is like, so you can hear these big crazy words and be like, okay, hyper more than it should be, hypo less than it should be, and you can kind of start laying these bricks, but that's from a class. So yeah. It's not a normal thing, and it is very needed.
Yeah, the average person just isn't going to know it. You don't need to know it, except for the once a year you're filling out the form.
That, and I think with AI too, I know older people get fooled. Not fooled, that's a bad word, but like,
yeah,
they
treat.
Yeah, like it's hard to tell what is AI and what's not sometimes, but that can also be dangerous in a place like America where we advertise prescription drug.
Yeah.
And that they could think, oh, this magic herbal pill is perfect for what I need, and then it tanks their liver function or something else because they don't understand what it really was in the first place,
Yeah.
Just that it said it would heal this magical thing. So
right. Well, so you mentioned aging populations, and certainly with baby boomers, we have a lot of them. You also mentioned kind of specialization in the hospitals. Do you think that you need advocates for each specialization just to navigate that, or can people learn that across the board? What's your, as you socialize this and make it better, what would you do there?
I think you would have to know a little bit of something about everything. Like, I think a medical terminology course would have to be required in doing that. And the employer should provide that. Let me say that. It should not be at the cost of the person trying to help people.
Right.
But I think also diversity in hiring. Like, I know now it can be almost a taboo thing to talk about affirmative action, but the baseline of that was to have someone who looks like you in a place you shop, in a place you purchase from, in a place so what's wrong with that? I'm going to be more likely to tell somebody or ask someone a question I might be embarrassed about if they look like me,
Totally. Yeah. I think I was thinking about just trust, credibility with someone at least has something that you share, whether it's language, looks like you, came from the same town. There's all kinds of things we do that give us kind of instant trust and credibility. And, if you've got a diverse population, and certainly some of the, aging and language, clearly, and anything that's complicated like healthcare, digital, I've got a story to tell about the telephone company and the hotel company, things like that. And it just frustrates me so much. So
I think any information that's ever been protected information, whether a certain group of people couldn't attend an institution or couldn't develop a policy or law for something, like, I think it's always going to, we haven't bridged that gap yet.
Yeah. Well, so let's flip the script then and talk about when we're experiencing customer service ourselves. And, I had said I've had numerous experiences over my life, and it frustrates me to no end because I will often find myself at some level saying, I have an MBA and I don't understand what you're telling me. It's just incredibly frustrating. And then I feel like a jerk saying I have an MBA, but then it doesn't make any sense. And I should be able to figure it out. And then I get mad because I think other people can't figure it out. So whatever, I don't know. There's probably a lot in what I just said.
No, but it rung true because you said something that I heard many times on the phone with people. And it's like, I have this and I don't understand it. And I'm like, as opposed to what you're saying, because I don't have one, like, you should be able to understand it. Like, I'm specialized and trained and certified in this job. Like, you need me more than I need you. Like, what? Like, I would have that thought, not saying that you meant that any type of way close to that when you said it, but I've heard it so many times. Well, my dad has this and doesn't get it. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a great perspective, right, of how it feels. I mean, as I said, I felt like a jerk kind of saying it. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's how you felt, and then, of course, you're dealing with hundreds of people, right? But it would be frustrating to me when the person on the other end couldn't figure out that they were using terms. I'm just going to say one of the most frustrating things is they're using some term in their industry or an acronym. I'm like, I have no idea what your acronym means. Like, break it down for me.
Yeah, and that could be in training. Good organizations train for things like that and let people know you have to say the whole term. Like, people aren't going to know that and things like that. So being able to break down complex knowledge into digestible knowledge is a skill I have on my resume. So I'm like,
yeah, but it is that meeting. I'm going to say meet the customer where they are, and many times it could simply be the MBA is irrelevant, obviously, because that particular industry I just didn't understand. I had no exposure to it, whatever, and it had nothing to do with my education level. It was just new, and I didn't know what people were talking about. But the fact that they didn't identify after the fourth time of saying, I'm not getting it, can you try it a different way? And they just keep telling you the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, So anyway, I have stories, fun stories. but whenever the customer service person says, well, you should have done this and you should have done that, then I kind of get my dander up. I'm like, well, maybe I should have, but I didn't. Or no, maybe y'all should have done your job. I never quite know, Anyway, lots of stories about that to try to navigate my own problems.
I will say, like, the way you approach it, I've come to you many times for assistance, like sticking it to the man and being like, what the heck is this? And it would have never occurred to me in a million years to write a company back that's requesting a giant amount of money and saying, like, I want proof of these charges and where this is coming from, and then I'll pay it. Like, my brain was like, you mean I can tell them, wait? Like, no, I'm not paying this until you show me why.
Yeah.
Never would have occurred to me. It was life-changing information.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah.
So,
isn't that great though? Because I mean, we benefited because we've utilized each other's skills, but for other folks, they need the advocate because they haven't got Aniko and Rebecca, and my friend Natalie is like this too. Just some people figure out how to navigate it, but people don't even know they can ask for help, and they definitely don't know they have a lot more options available to them than they actually have. Yeah.
And I think a lot more people would get help because most people who avoid the doctor feel like it's scary, or they're going to tell them something and then it's not going to be something big. Like, but if you don't understand terms like acute or whatever they're saying, all these things, they're not going to go.
No. And people, I'm sure you experience this, I guess, that people don't know where to get the help, even if there is someone out there that can help them. So a lot of people depend on family and friends for help.
Definitely. And I think that's why I advocate for advocates to be paid a lot more, because there's the outreach and I just lost the word out of my head. We're going around and we're giving out pamphlets and free health things. Ooh. Anyways.
Okay. It'll come to you.
Like, there's so much into it, and letting people know that you're around and having a face to put to the service. That's a big part of the job too.
So you think you had said something earlier I wanted to follow up on. You think that the company that needs navigating, or the organization that needs navigating, hospital, DMV, complicated technology like phone, cell phones, if you've ever tried to cancel one or out of service or whatever, like, you know what I'm talking about. You think those companies should be responsible for providing the advocate to navigate their organization, or do you think it should be a third party organization to help navigate?
I think there should be both. I'm always down for more organizations, more specialized need. Like, just because there was a workers union didn't mean there didn't need to be an NAACP. I think there should be both. At the minimum, they should have one, but again, staffed properly so that their customer service is what you want it to be. And even in terms of like retaining who might need follow-up care and things like that, the better people are. But we got to pay people more, because I'm not going to want to volunteer and get invested with families and want to be there with them through any type of follow-up they have or anything like that if I'm not paid.
Yeah, so interesting. So then do you think a volunteer type organization would be a problem to sustain something like that?
I'm a big fan of like internships. Like, let people see if they like it. View and watch yourself as someone who's there to develop someone else, not just like I'm an employer, but if you're really there to develop someone, which I would hope a program like this you would. You should be able to, I think you should be able to do it. You should be able to do it. It's fine. You should be able to do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to queue up here for another break, but we've got a song because Aniko's been sharing her perspective on being a customer service rep, and she said she was a freak. So as we go out to our next segment here with Walk the Herd, what's you got for us, Jake, Rick James, and Super Freak? All right. This is Walk the Herd and 93.7 The Ticket. We'll take a break and be right back.
She will never let your spirits down. Once you get her off the street, oh girl. She likes the boys in the band.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
You're listening to Walk the Herd on 93.7 The Ticket. Here are your hosts, Rebecca Pearson and Aniko Renee.
Welcome back to Walk the Herd at 93.7 The Ticket. Don't forget to participate. We would love to hear from you. Drop us a note in the YouTube chat or text in at 402-464-5685. We are rocking it with our favorite tunes. We're having a great conversation about customer service and the need for advocacy. I think one of the things right before the break that was on my mind, Aniko, was just kind of the new world order of customer service involving AI. And I believe one of our listeners wants to know whether we've had any experiences that weren't so great. Does that bring anything to mind for you?
It sure does. Let me paint the picture. It's 2023. No, but it was. After a late night
in the distance
of spicy karaoke, I pulled up in the McDonald's drive-thru. And they said, "Hello, I'm your," whoever she was, bless her heart, the robot. AI could not get my order to save her life or their life. I don't want to put them in a box. But
oh, yeah. The pronouns are there.
Exactly. Like, I don't know how that's going to evolve either. But couldn't get anything I said in my order right. Like, I ended up going to Taco Bell. It was the wildest thing. And I know some McDonald's internally have gone like fully automated. Baby, if I can't push the button, it doesn't know what I'm saying apparently. And so
were you trying to order the special sauce, no cheese, pickle, lettuce? Oh, that's Burger King, isn't it? What were you trying to do? What were you ordering at McDonald's that couldn't handle?
In 2023, I was ordering a double cheeseburger, no pickle, add mac sauce with a medium fry and a Coke.
Couldn't handle it. What did it want you to order? Or what was it thinking you were ordering? Do you
remember?
Pies
and all types of madness. I would never order a McRib. What? No.
And you ended up going to Taco Bell. You're like, the heck with this.
And I was like, I'm home. White Mexican food. I'm home.
So how does that... So at least for a period of time, could I assume you didn't go back to that location at least, that it had some impact on their bottom line?
Yeah, and I think they stopped doing it shortly thereafter. Like, I don't remember anybody else saying anything about it for a while, so I don't think it went well. But I definitely avoided it because I don't have time. At that point, if I'm getting the drive-through at 12:30 in the morning, I'm already crossing into hangry. And now it's up to me to provide customer service as a patron because I need food now. Or
oh my gosh, that reminds me that Natalie just shared with me the video, and I'm not going to remember it. I don't know if she can drop it in the chat because I think she's listening. But the guy who's checking himself out at the Walmart, who's a comedian, and it's this whole thing about customer service. Have you seen it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I forget what it's called. Maybe Natalie can remind me. Anyway, it's this whole skit with a Rod. I think his name is Rodman. I'm sorry. I'm really digging in the back of my brain here at the moment. And if you haven't seen it, it's this whole thing about, it's great. He's checking himself, first of all, he's just trying to check out and they're like, oh, you can check yourself out at the self-checkout. And then he's talking about, I thought I was a shopper. I'm not an employee. Why am I checking myself out? And it just goes on and on and on. It is absolutely hilarious, with all the problems and the scanner doesn't work. And, now he needs to call customer service. And he's like, but wait a minute, I am customer service because I'm checking myself out. I'm not the shopper.
I have heard that.
Rodman. Yeah, Rodman self-checkout. So for anybody listening, if you want some entertainment on the truly fouled up nature of having to do self-service at the grocery store when we actually used to have people that were paid to check us out. So anyway, the evolution of customer service, AI may also introduce even more need for advocates. I can only imagine my mother trying to deal with an AI bot at the doctor's office. and with the slow speech, the gaps between the words because you're trying to figure out how to
touch screen. Is it not
touch screen? Is this a real person? And then her wanting to say hello, or anybody. Hopefully people can imagine. If you've ever helped. So anyway, all right. Any last thoughts on customer service as we wind down the show for today?
For people in customer service, I'm really sorry for half of the people you have to deal with. But on the other half, man, thanks for being you. I love going somewhere and somebody's just them, 100%. Like, keep that up.
Yeah. When they're good, reward them, folks. Tip them, thank them, recognize them, whatever, when you get good customer service, because there's a lot of opportunity out there. All right. That's Walk the Herd for tonight. Great to see you all. Great to hear everybody. And we will be back next week. Thank you, Aniko and Rebecca. Out.